Welcome to the Harvard Health Minute. I'm Dr. Terry Schrader. Today we're going to talk about motivation, maybe the most important aspect of a healthy lifestyle. And to help us is Harvard psychiatrist Srini Pillay. Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me. It's really lovely to be here.
So tell us some of the things you see in your own practice, common problems with patients trying to make major decisions, major changes in their food choices, their activity level, their stress level, etc.
Sure. So a classic scenario, the patient comes in, has a new set of goals. I want to lose weight, I want to go to the gym, I want to change my diet. They totally mean it, they're absolutely serious, they're highly intelligent. 1 month later, they go back to doing exactly what they were doing before that. And one of the first things that I try to draw to their attention is that stress causes you to regress. And this really is a research-based finding. So one of the things we know is that stress actually perpetuates habit pathways in the brain. And when you become stressed, the first thing that your brain does is it puts you back into what I call habit hell. And so if you don't address the stress, you're actually not going to be able to make any of the changes that you need to make in order to move forward.
Now, I know you've also written about eudaimonia. Can you explain what eudaimonia is, how it will help us make better decisions?
Sure. So there are two kinds of pleasure. There's hedonia, and when it comes to things like weight loss or diet changes, hedonia has to do with wanting to look good because you want to look good in a bikini, or wanting to look good because you want to look good for someone else. It's a more superficial sense of purpose, and it's totally fine. Eudaimonia is actually about well-being, which constitutes a sense of meaning and purpose. And this is a much more deeply held feeling within you that makes you feel that the changes you're making are not just to look good, but they actually matter in your life.
Can you give us some examples?
Sure. So, when I think about patients in my practice and the reasons that they are actually making these changes, there's a whole variety of things that actually come into play. One of the things is thinking about family or thinking about friends and thinking to themselves, you know what, this is not just for me. I actually want to be healthy in 20, 30 years' time. I actually want to be there for my grandchildren. This is a much deeper sense of purpose. But it's the first level of depth. The depth that I really like people to get to is this depth that is a little bit more elusive, because the sense of purpose is not related to any other thing. In fact, when Aristotle first talked about this, he actually talked about the fact that the sense of purpose is simply a feeling that exists for its own sake. You feel like you have direction in life, you feel like you have meaning, and the things that you do, whether it's losing weight, changing your diet, listening to music that you love, he even said superficial things are fine if they're contributing to what the sense of purpose is. And the particular term that Aristotle used was virtue. And he used this to indicate that what matters about a sense of purpose is you.
I see. And does that deeper sense of purpose feed into our sense of well-being? Is that what you're saying?
It really does. And I think one of the things I really like to emphasize is that this sense of purpose is not just about sacrifice. It's not about giving because you feel morally obligated to give. And it's not just about, I need to do this so people think I'm a good person. It really starts with you. I always say to people, you matter. And if you pay attention to you, then this will automatically reward other people.
But we do get on that martyrdom track or that self-abusive track. And I know I see patients who have physical obstacles in their way, not to be able to change their lifestyles. How do we get off of that and take care of ourselves?
So, I really think it's a stepwise process. So the very first thing I think is self-acceptance. Recognizing that there are a lot of things to worry about, that there are things in your life. You can't do everything perfectly every day. And what you've got to do is take a step back and say, what are the things I can control? What are the things I can't control? And then learn to let go of the things that you can't control. Once you've done that, you can start to look more closely at your goals. And you can start to break down your intentions into goal intentions, which are broader goals, like I want to lose weight, or perhaps I want to even I want to go to the gym, maybe a broad intention. You want to break that down into an implementation intention. And this means that you become much more specific. How much weight do I want to lose? When do I want to go to the gym? And when all of this contributes to well-being, one of the things that I think for me is very impressive about this is that it actually changes your brain. Studies show that when you pay attention to the sense of meaning and purpose, you are activating the reward center in your brain. And in studies with adolescents, we've actually seen that when you have a sense of meaning and purpose, it's even more powerful. The effect is more powerful on the reward center in the brain, and it can protect against later depression.
So you actually have physical manifestations of these emotions and thoughts and feelings that you're talking about. That's terrific. So in a nutshell, we need to have a deeper sense of meaning and purpose to stick with our goals. We need to have a greater sense of well-being, of taking care of ourselves, feeling good about ourselves. And then finally, just in terms of overcoming those obstacles, whether it's time to get to the gym or the ability to even learn about the healthy foods we need to choose, how do we do that?
Well, I think the first thing is really to remember that it starts with you. So if you can remember that your truth matters, and I'm emphasizing that because it really matters that your goals are relevant to you, this will actually become more meaningful because you'll feel like doing it, rather than simply having lip service. I always tell people lip service lets you down. And what really matters, even if you don't know immediately, is to say, wait a minute, my life is on the fast track, but it doesn't really mean something to me. I need to take a step back, ask myself about this eudaimonia. What is my meaning? What is my purpose? What matters to me? Because we know that if you take care of what matters to you, it's going to inspire a sense of giving to other people.
Terrific. You've given us some very strong motivators to stay healthy. Thank you, Dr. Pillay.
Thanks very much for having me. It's really great to be here.